Signs. When the winning candidate always spends the most, buying up the votes, people see the cozy arranged marriage a free enterprise to the democratic process. Thusly, in relation to their own humble way of living, do they learn to accept the ultimate power of the almighty dollar. When the deal makers gain too much influence, the mass of people grow uneasy. They sense the dissipation of their masters, as horses smell the impending storm upon the wind. When the citizens have no places that they have always known, because all is in the chaos of construction and migration, they grow truly skittish and unruly, like wild herding animals near a raging fire. When the people litter carelessly, having no connection to the land, their feeling for the Tao is certainly fouled as well. But during those briefest moments before the crash, any significance is lost in the noise and confusion. When one alone stoops to pick up another's litter, it is a hard thing to do, for plastic trash far outlasts our bones, as well as any thought behind our actions. When the people do not honor the food that they eat, animals live like prisoners and die robbed of their grace, and the land where they are fattened is polluted by their runoff, yet some will still be straining to hear sounds of missing songbirds. When the frogs are disappearing and growing extra legs, parents study children with extra care, arms unable to protect, brains unwilling to accept. When a country takes its food shrink-wrapped tight in plastic, which is thoughtlessly and immediately discarded, and its commercials require more thinking than its paid infotainment, its strength is thus diminished and its future is in doubt. Yet this is not painful to those who heave mindlessly within the throng. When the children learn to unwrap all gifts with an amazing speed, then consume, discard, and walk away without a thought, it should not be long before they absorb the truth. They too are surely to be shortly cast aside. When the people worship only what is new, their offspring try to invent an entire culture on their own. But quickly they grow old and must blame it all upon themselves. When the country merely follows the latest in manufactured fads, its cities cannot last, and its old have no roads to travel, and the young have no one that they can turn to. When it is common knowledge that the old are of no use, the young and beautiful nonetheless cannot see. Their own lives must also very quickly end in a purposeless emptiness. When the people are always far too busy with trivial tasks that they must soon forget, and in-depth news is unimportant and history is unlearned, their rush is towards a future filled with old mistakes. When people reach the end of life in such a place as this, there is a sense that the road where they have traveled was not a winding path leading to a peaceful destination, but an endless superhighway where they have broken down for good. When tourism has become a simple extractive industry, natural beauty becomes a resource to be efficiently exploited. Condos in strip malls and cheap plastic icons sprout up very quickly until the magic is depleted and the workers move away. When the country imports poor and ignorant young human beings to do work considered to be too menial, the dignity of labor is never learned by its children, and empty media sales values are all that they retain. When the ones that we listen to we consider to be at least halfway insane, we have forced our lives into making sense by believing far more than we try to understand. When people ask what a tiger has ever done for them, it is easy to internalize. We require no more major course corrections. When endless sprawl and traffic jams are considered simply as the norm, it makes real sense that a bit of litter does not matter anywhere anymore. When jobs and consumption, spoiled children and entertainment guide all of our blurry actions, then appear the gaping inconsistencies in our thinking that guide this accelerating rush towards our own self-extinction. When an education is just for losers and getting by any means is good, we have no reason to be surprised by corporate frauds and collusion, or roving gangs of illiterate and amoral youth. When sex is used to sell everything from cat food to car parts, newspapers still report that our brave police righteously arrest the women who must sell themselves to feed their fatherless children. When alcohol destroys the lives of millions every year, beer distributors grow rich and become our civic leaders, while pot smokers passively go to jail and rot. When black men go to prison for years for stealing cars or selling a hit of meth, mealy white corporate parasites get away scot-free for ruining countless lives and stealing millions. When we say that we believe that all men are created equal, the people watch as we rush in military aid to those who live where coveted resources still pertain. When highly skilled positions are all moved away from our shores and Walmart wires our hard-earned money to foreign bank accounts, where will the skilled illegales who do the real work that we once understood find jobs in the bright future of this our glorious land? When the scientists and engineers, craftsmen and computer coders are all outsourced and only the ignorant and lazy majority remains, loyal subjects pause to ask, who will hook up the lights? When the oil is all sucked down and the Arabs ride camels back to their fly-ridden sheikdoms and all the motorized wheels stop their turning, our sacred mommies will puzzle over getting the kids to the mall. When actors and the grandsons of politicians get elected and money buys the office, some ask, why not just count the contributions raised instead of bothering to vote? When city governments compete for destination shopping centers, using new sales taxes to finance their ever more bloated budgets, and more houses mean more property taxes for their counties to waste, citizens observe as these trusted public servants build our legacy for the future under the holy rubric of local control. When the people view all foreigners as simply stupid and irrelevant, and the measure of a nation is taken through a gun sight, there is no contradiction that your clothing and electronics come from China, your cars from Japan, and your computers are controlled from India. When our leaders pray for guidance in making important state decisions and terrorist enemies invoke their own gods in support of holy jihad, all those of franchised faith heed the calls to prayer and peace, secure in the knowledge that their own one true God will not ever forsake them. When the people scoff as fuzzy-thinking tree-huggers try to run amok and see that their plans are too expensive and will cost so many jobs, yet provide little value in their own search for exciting entertainment, then has their society been divorced from the web of life that once sustained it. When the children realize that they were raised up to be as ignorant as vegetables and that all the best resources have been so far consumed, while fouling and contaminating the majority of nature just to nurture them, they can sigh while carrying firewood and water barefoot but still faithful. When political correctness yields gains for passive-aggressive lampreys, know clearly that the weak and submissive have not been advanced, yet the strong, the independent, and the productive see once again the fact that their labors only benefit the truly glib and venal suck-ups. When the evangelicals rule the scientists while their children are paused in violent video games to take their meds, the corporations set the agenda based upon their short-term needs, as all the little dancers skip about in this rapidly advancing twilight.